So the Smartick team is with Dr. Matthew Beyranevand. He is the Math and Science Coordinator for the Chelmsford Public Schools, and he's also the creator of the website Math with Matthew. When did you first get the spark of the idea for Math with Matthew?
Well, what happened is in the district, the Chelmsford Public Schools, they started their own public access TV show for the administration. And I pitched them, I said, hey, how about we do a show about math and make it called Math with Matthew, because I have the name Matthew, so it works out well. So they said, absolutely. So I started making a show to inform the public and the parents about all the great things happening within the Chelmsford Public Schools from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. It started off kind of boring, where we just kind of did informational, and slowly we tried to make it more fun. We started doing some songs, and then it turned into music videos. And then the music videos are where it really caught on for the students, where they actually became interested watching it, and it became something that classes would all watch my TV show so they could learn about math in a fun and engaging manner.
How did the students react? How did they like it?
Well, first they reacted by being very surprised, because for many kids, math is not fun or interesting. And one of my current focus in my work is how can we make math interesting and engaging for students. So at first they were very surprised by this. So what I did was that at first it was teachers doing the videos, doing the songs. I found students then who were interested themselves and get them involved in the making of the songs, the writing of the songs, and then being in the music videos so that they could be excited about math in an authentic way.
How about the educators? Did you get a lot of support?
I got much support. Teachers throughout the school district have been involved. One of my math teachers at the high school level, he has his own recording studio, so we do all of our recordings there. Some of our math teachers have done singing in it, playing instruments, been involved in the writing. It's been great support. So then to take it to the next level, we said, how about we take these math music videos and we try to make it into an actual TV show? So I thought to myself, what was my favorite show growing up? And it was Bill Nye the Science Guy. I grew up loving that. And I said, there's no fun math TV shows. So we decided, let's make a pilot TV show like Bill Nye the Science Guy, but for math, to get middle school kids, elementary kids excited about learning math. So that was the next step. Take the music, take some humor, and make a show about a single concept, in this case, the Pythagorean theorem, and make it into a TV show that everybody could enjoy. So we played that show just within Chelmsford. It got some great reviews. Next thing I know, over 30 towns in New England had found the show, picked it up, and played it on their own public access TV station so that other kids in other districts could watch the show and see that math can be fun.
What's fun to you about math?
Well, here's the thing about math. Math isn't always fun. When we talk about STEM or STEAM, most of that is really fun for kids to learn about. Science, technology, engineering, and the arts, all kids want to learn about and they enjoy. Math, not so much. So what we need to do as math educators is find a way to get the kids authentically interested in learning about the math, get them engaged in it. And there are a few different ways to do that. One of the ways is to ask questions of the kids that get them to think about math in their world, that applies to them in their real world. Another way to think about it has to do with what sort of questions involve pop culture, things that they're interested in. One of the things I like to do is make math music videos with the kids. Take songs, pop culture songs, and turn it into math lyrics so that they can learn about a concept like the Pythagorean theorem or polygons in a way that makes sense to them because they're hearing music that they're accustomed to. In addition to that, we got to get kids active and engaged in the lesson. What we can't do is say, here's a problem, I'm going to teach you how to solve it. Now you sit at your desk by yourself and solve it 20 times yourself, and then for homework, do it another 20 times. That's not going to get kids interested in learning math.
Why is it an important part of the curriculum?
Well, math is a very important part because math is a way to understand the world in which we live in. Math, by definition, is studying the patterns and relationships that explain the world. Math can be used in every subject area. It's primarily applied within science. It's used within the real world for jobs, but also it's just a way to make sense of the world we live in. So math is I would argue the most important subject in which students learn, up there with their languages as well as being able to read and write. Math is integral.
Why is it important to make it engaging and interactive?
It is important because we want to get the kids genuinely interested in the math. Here's the thing about math. Students are required to take math class. From kindergarten throughout high school, you must take math class. With certain subjects, their electives, the teachers have to work hard to get the students to want to take their course, like the arts or music or physical education. They're not always required to. So math teachers feel as though sometimes you have to take my class no matter what. So they don't work very hard to try to get the kids engaged, because you know what? You have to do the math. You have to get through Algebra 1, then you have to get to Geometry and Algebra 2, and you have to go through this. So it's important to get the kids engaged so that they want to learn it, and so when they're no longer required to have to take math, such as in college or beyond, that they are genuinely interested in the material, and now it says, wow, I really understand it, I like it, I don't just have procedural knowledge where I've memorized these formulas, I actually understand the math because of the way that it was taught for me, and I will go forward and learn it even more and become an engineer, become a doctor, or become one of these skilled laborers that require a math background, because we need good mathematicians, especially we need good female mathematicians. And one of my favorite math music videos that we've done is called Girls Are All About the Math, because girls in particular are just as gifted in math as the boys, but for whatever reason, oftentimes girls feel they shouldn't be doing math or science as well as the boys do. But the research says girls, especially at the middle school level, are as good, if not better, than the boys in math. So let's get all kids, but in particular girls, excited about learning math.
Do you have a secret sauce?
Well, not necessarily a secret sauce, but the thing is that it's not just me doing this work. It's called Math with Matthew. That's the production company, and I am Matthew, but I want to get everybody involved. A lot of ideas. So a lot of my teachers volunteer. We have some parents who have ideas. We have people that I work with through nonprofit organization who send me emails for ideas for new songs, as well as the students themselves are involved in the project. Some of them write lyrics. Others go to the recording studio and sing. Some work behind the scenes on the camera. So it's getting a strong team of people who are volunteering to make these math music videos so that people, everybody can enjoy learning math in a fun way and get people, everybody, excited about mathematics.
Is there something that you tried that didn't work?
We've tried quite a few things that have not worked. The project we tried this summer that did not work was to write an original song in which it would be based upon using math tools as instruments to create a song, like a ruler and protractors and erasers and markers, to try to come up with our own repeated beat song that we would then write lyrics for to understand linear equations and make a math music video. Well, long story short, it didn't work, and that's okay. And that actually brings me to a very good point about failure and failing. So we tried to make this, it didn't work, and that's okay. And in our math classes, we need to make sure our students know it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail, because that's part of learning. And when you make mistakes and you understand it, you'll become a better mathematician or a better worker or whatever it is that you're focusing on through those mistakes. You should not have a fixed mindset where mistakes are bad. You should have a growth mindset that if you think mistakes are part of learning, then you know you use that to become smarter and better at what you do. So we make mistakes also, we learn from it, and we just try to do better the next time.
Describe the evolution of your content.
So the content started off very simple as doing a TV show. And then it moved to math music videos. And we made the math music videos. We've done 6 or 7 of those. And then it went to a pilot TV show, which we made as a 16-month project using a lot of people and a lot of resources to try to make a pilot TV show to be able to have students understand the Pythagorean theorem. In addition to that, I've also expanded my work to doing a podcast, where I do a math education podcast to help math educators understand what are the current concepts and ideas within math education. I do a video blog, which is very similar. What's math education news? And then I share my perspective on that. In addition to that, I write blogs, and I'm in the process of publishing my first book I have a 3-book deal to help math educators become a little bit stronger in how they teach it and understand the math a little bit better in what they're trying to teach for kids. So I got my hands on a lot of different things, but it all falls under the same umbrella. How can we increase students' conceptual understanding of the concepts, and how can we get them interested and engaged in the material?
Matthew, how do you feel about new digital tools and solutions like Smartick?
So digital tools are critical for students' learning. When they're outside of school, most of their time is spent using these new technologies, using tablets, using phones, using computer, using internet. That's the way they learn their things on their own. That's the way they communicate and socialize. So we should not have a classroom that is very old-fashioned in the approach in which we present the material. If we as teachers have the ability to use online programs to help the students understand the concept and it fits their learning style, then we're doing the right thing. So a program such as yours is Smartick, where you're trying to build that conceptual understanding and have the students use the program in a fun and engaging manner, that is exactly the approach that would be successful for teachers to use in their classroom with kids.
What trends in education you see coming in the future?
Well, the trends within education, within math education in particular, we have this pendulum that shifts from procedural knowledge to conceptual understanding. The procedural knowledge is focusing on, can you do the computations? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Can you do all the processes? The conceptual understanding is really, do you understand the math? Do you know why you would be using the Pythagorean theorem in this particular problem? Can you identify the correct problem-solving technique in how you would solve the problem? So there's always a shift back and forth. We are right now in an approach which is kind of in the middle, where we want to build students' conceptual understanding, but we also want to make sure they have that procedural fluency, that they can do those basic computations without the need for a calculator. So the idea is, how can we do both of those things with our 21st century classroom and our 21st century student who relies on things that need to be quick and fast with the use of technology? Because if after 5 minutes we're not engaging them, we lose them for the whole class period. So we have to teach them the math, which is not always their favorite. We want to teach them the understanding behind it so they can remember it and recall it. But we also want them to have the procedures in place where they can do adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and it needs to be done in a fun and engaging manner. It's not easy to be a teacher, especially of math, but you have to have all those components if you're going to be successful.
What's next for you?
So for me, I'm doing a few different things. The first thing I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to do more speaking to teachers, parents, about understanding the math in which we teach and how we can make it fun and engaging. That's a lot of the work that I do with teachers. With parents, I like to spend a lot of time so that they understand the math standards. There's kind of a misnomer about the Common Core State Standards as being something that's very evil, and I want them to understand what the math looks like. Many elementary parents don't understand the procedures of curriculum today. They say, this is not the way I did math, I don't understand it. So I'm trying to train and work with teachers on that. I'm still trying to do my math music videos. I'm working on a couple of books that'll be coming out in the next year or two for math educators, and anything that falls under the umbrella of helping increase students' interest and engagement in math, I'm signing up for, because that is really my focus.